Many Christians who hold to a young Earth theory of the Earth believe dinosaurs live with man and are reported in the Bible. Although this notion is rejected by almost all conservative evangelical Bible scholars, this hasn't stopped it from becoming very popular among some Christians. I want to make it clear that this video isn't about young Earth creationism. You can believe Noah brought a pair of triceratopses on the ark and agree with almost everything stated in this video. After all, if dinosaurs did coexist with man, then they probably wouldn't have been seen as very special. They would be just another member of the animal kingdom, and no more marvelous than the striped tiger or enormous blue whale. I should probably preface this by giving a brief history of my own views on the creatures. I was in 4th or 5th grade when I had a friend tell me that dinosaurs were in the Bible, and he showed me the passages in Job which referred to Behemoth and Leviathan. Although at the time I was very unskilled in interpretation, or just less skilled than I am now, which isn't saying all that much, I wasn't all that convinced by these passages. I mean, they seemed like they could be about dinosaurs, but they weren't concrete for me even back then. For a while, I sort of just chose to accept that dinosaurs were part of the Bible, since I was already a young earther and a big Jurassic Park fan, making it to where it would be pretty cool if they were indeed found in the Bible. I mean, who wouldn't want to imagine Abraham battling a velociraptor? But as time went on, I found out that these interpretations are remarkably rare to find among biblical scholarship. Of course, that doesn't mean they are wrong per se, although it did do a big dent in my confidence in this interpretation being accurate. Eventually, I found these arguments against identifying them as dinosaurs to be overwhelming, and I changed my mind. I hope I can bring these same arguments to this video and present them in a convincing fashion. With that being said, I will talk about the creatures Leviathan in Job 41 and Behemoth in Job 40. Now, the first and most obvious indicator that the Leviathan isn't a dinosaur is the fact that it apparently breathes fire. This is unlike any aquatic creature we have ever seen, past or present. Now, some will respond to this by using the example of the bombardier beetle, which can breathe fire. But these are nowhere near the same. A beetle that can breathe fire is not the same as an aquatic dinosaur-like creature the size of a whale. There's a big difference. Now, others will suggest that this fire is in reference to poison, akin to a snake bite, as those in the ancient world described the bites of cobras as fiery. It is indeed true that the ancients described the fiery pain of a poisonous bite like this, but there is another problem. Why would a creature such as Leviathan need a poisonous bite when it could probably bite most creatures in the ocean in half very easily? The next problem for identifying the Leviathan as a dinosaur is a seldomly looked at passage when discussing the creature. Psalm 74:14 says that God crushed the heads, plural, of Leviathan, singular. This passage is agreed upon by scholars as being in reference to a singular Leviathan with multiple heads. This is, once again, unlike any known aquatic creature or dinosaur. What is being described here is more akin to an aquatic hydra than a mosasaurus. But there is more to look at. You see, the Israelites weren't the only ones who believed in the Leviathan-like creature. Ancient Ugaritic texts say, "You smote Litnu, the fleeing serpent, annihilated the twisting serpent, the dominant one who has 7 heads." Isaiah 27:1 states, "That day the Lord with his hard and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, Leviathan, the twisting serpent, and he will slay the dragon that is in the sea." Ugaridologist Ola Wykander says that these terms are so rare that it is quite unthinkable that the combination of these two specific words should have arisen by chance in both Ugarit and Hebrew literature. The connection between Leviathan and Litnu is considered indisputable by scholars. But the Leviathan doesn't just have similarities with Ugaritic culture. Psalm 74 describes God destroying the Leviathan and creating the world. This is very similar to the Babylonian creation myth of Marduk killing the chaos dragon Tiamat and then creating the world. The phrase in Job 41:2, "Can you put a rope in his nose or pierce his jaw with a hook?" was a common Mesopotamian motif for gods who wage battle against the chaos dragon. Ancient cultures viewed places beyond the cities and civilization as chaotic, impure, and a place of disorder. This is why the chaos dragon, Leviathan, Tiamat, or Litnu, existed in these ancient cultures. To conclude, the Bible isn't trying to give us information about some sort of ancient dinosaur, but instead is making reference to a common ancient Mesopotamian motif of a watery, fire-breathing, multi-headed dragon that represents the chaos of the waters. Next up on our list is the mighty Behemoth, which many suggest is a sauropod-like dinosaur. But just like the Leviathan, there are several problems with identifying this creature as a dinosaur. The first of which is that it's paired with Leviathan, something that we have already established as a mythical creature, increasing the chances that this may also be some sort of mythical creature. I think we can start by also noting that the word from which behemoth is derived is behema, which is most commonly used for cattle. Of course, this isn't universal, but it does do a dent in the identification of Behemoth as a dinosaur, as it seems odd that the writer of Job would use a word based upon another word, which was primarily for cattle. Despite there being Hebrew words to describe scaly skin such as that of a dinosaur, we don't see it being used here. When describing a sauropod, you would most likely mention their long neck, but the author doesn't do this. Instead, the author of Job says that Behemoth eats grass like an ox. This is not something a large sauropod would be expected to do. Even if they did eat grass from the ground, you would still think that this would be much less significant or of note than their scaly skin, enormous neck, or reptilian features. In the Septuagint version of Job, it is said that the behemoth went up a steep mountain, and this brought rejoicing to all the quadrupeds in Tartarus. Why would a brachiosaurus that is taking a hike up a mountain cause rejoicing in the underworld? Behemoth is said to live among reeds and marshes, which may seem odd for a sauropod, but if we look at Psalm 68:30, we can see that bulls are known for dwelling in the reeds. But I assure you this isn't the only evidence for connecting Behemoth to a bull-like creature. The Ugaritic version of Leviathan, which we have discussed already, is paired with a mythological bull, kinda like how Leviathan is paired with Behemoth in Job. We also see other examples of powerful mythical bulls in the ancient Near Eastern culture, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh. Now that I've brought up some textual reasons for not identifying Behemoth as a dinosaur, and also brought up some other reasons within the text and ancient Near Eastern culture for identifying it as some sort of mythical bull creature, I will address the main reasons that advocate of this view identify the Behemoth as a dinosaur. Those who think Behemoth is a dinosaur will typically go for Behemoth's tail. The ESV reads, "He makes his tail stiff like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit together." I think this translation is a good one, and you will see why. But other translations render this verse differently. The KJV reads, "He moveth his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his stones are wrapped together." This translation also doesn't do much for the dinosaur view. I looked at the ESV, KJV, NIV, NASB, NRSV, ISV, and the CSB, and I didn't find a translation that identifies the tail as being as large as a cedar, just saying that it had qualities similar to that of a cedar tree. But there is one final problem with the use of the tail for identifying Behemoth as a dinosaur. That is, it probably doesn't mean tail. You see, biblical poetry will commonly operate through repetition. In Job, the word tail is being paralleled with thighs. The word being used for thighs is only used once in the Bible, which is here, but in Aramaic it refers to testicles. So yeah, the tail is a euphemism for the behemoth's penis. This is why many translations, such as the ESV, use the word stiff, or in other cases, stiffens or extends. And in case you're wondering why isn't it explicitly called this, it's because there's no Hebrew word for the testicles. And one last thing is the cherry on top. The Hebrew word for strength is related to sexual virility. So yeah, in conclusion, the behemoth isn't a dinosaur, but a mythical bull creature that is known for his sexual organs. I will end this video by restating what I said in the beginning. I am not attacking young Earth creationism, or even the notion that dinosaurs lived with man in the first place. I am simply saying that the creatures Leviathan and Behemoth are not describing dinosaurs here in the Bible. If you think they are, then that's great, and perhaps you could give some reasons as to why they are. But after a close examination of the text and the surrounding culture, I've come to the conclusion that they just aren't talking about dinosaurs. With that being said, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like. If you have a question or an idea, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you want to see more of my content, press the subscribe button. With that being said, thank you for watching.